The Fellowship of Guelphissauga continues with a Blacklist Calamity at Conestoga College. Next week, the Corporation of the Shire will give everyone their Christmas presents with the 8.52% residential tax increase. This pissed off people so much that they stood with protest signs in the streets as they joined the tent encampments downtown. They set up camp next to the minimum wage earners, international students from Conestoga College, and Guelph-Mercury Reporters. The mayor ignored their numbers and instead spent the day entertaining local seniors with Christmas carols and pretend drumming. He couldn't handle the pressure, so he prayed to the Big Blue Orc and the Lord of the Liberals for help. The Big Blue Orc replied by casting a distraction spell with his commitment to buck a beer and honoring his brother. Can Carly of Klassen and the Elder Elves do anything about the housing cost crisis, and will Conestoga College survive its Blacklist Calamity? The housing cost crisis worsened this week with the 8.52% residential tax increase ruining people's holidays. Along with the planned 9.79, 8.03, and 7.33% tax increase over the next several years, they compounded into a total 38% increase by 2027. This pissed off the people in the Shire who were paying attention and can do math. One man took to the streets with a protest sign on the corner of Grange and Victoria, calling out the mayor for making the housing cost crisis even worse. With rent already at unaffordable levels, the minimum wage earners in the Shire are living in the tents downtown and under the Hanlon Bridge. They were joined by the Guelph-Mercury Reporters and Conestoga College's international students, since they couldn't find any jobs. Several people noticed the man's protest sign and wrote about it. Phil of the Alts expressed his concern on his website, and Kate of Tenier and Murray of Taylor wrote open letters. Elder Alt addressed the problem with policing the growing tent encampments. The issues that need to be addressed relate to the following: the Charter of Rights and Freedoms, recent court decisions permitting encampments, and the incapacity of municipalities to police our way out of mass homelessness and mental illness, he explained. Kate of Tenier added her voice with an open letter about the encampments downtown. I'm adding my voice to the growing chorus of those who know that while we need far more shelter for the unhoused, tent encampments in the downtown core is not a sustainable solution for anyone. Not for those living in them, for the businesses and other residents nearby, nor for the city in general, she wrote. Murray of Taylor joined Kate with his open letter about the tension downtown. He supported the bylaw to remove the encampments if it involved some effort from the mayor and council. These few downtown streets belong to us too, he said. Please keep them safe and secure for the shops and services we would love to support again. If passing a bylaw will get some of your council and bureaucrats off their collective arses at City Hall to get this done, please keep it a priority until you do get it done. Meanwhile, in the mayor's office downtown, he got off his arse to set his priorities straight. His first priority was to get a haircut and wash all the sand out of his hair from his climate change vacay conference in Dubai. Instead of getting a free haircut at Sir Edward's bench downtown, like the minimum wage earners have to do now, the mayor booked an appointment at a spa recommended to him by the Big Blue Orc. He browsed through Twitter while getting his new due and attempted to correct the math on the man's protest sign. The mayor's background is in marketing and not mathematics, so he knows how to sell the numbers, but not calculate them. He tried to correct the man's protest sign since the future tax increases simply add up to around 34% instead of 38%. However, some random guy standing on the corner had better math skills than the mayor, since he understands that tax increases compound on each other instead of simply add up. The mayor scrolled past the correct calculation and played the blame game for the current 8.52% tax increase. He tried to sell the numbers by saying the Shire's 3.96% part of the total increase was in line with inflation, which was a claim the mayors of Kitchener and Erin can make, but he could not. The trolls on Twitter relentlessly attacked the mayor for his bad sales pitch and miscalculations. He wanted to get away from the pressure, so he decided to go sing Christmas carols with his wife to old folks at Schlegel Village. But just like most things the mayor does with his wife, she ended up doing most of the work. She outperformed the mayor by playing the guitar, the piano, and singing at the same time. All the mayor could do was sit on a speaker and pretend to be a little drummer boy. During his offbeat drumming, the mayor prayed to the Lord of the Liberals and Big Blue Orc for help with a distraction for the trolls. Back at Conestoga College's ivory tower, its president returned to his spacious office after meeting with the mayor last week. The housing cost crisis resulted from a market failure in the real estate market, and Conestoga College appears to be the center of the calamity. On the demand side, Conestoga was riding the wave of immigrant voters the Lord of the Liberals imported to win the next election. Whereas on the supply side, the hundreds of students who were caught cheating on Conestoga's real estate licensing exams encouraged the monopolization of housing as BlackRock and Vanguard barred up our neighborhoods. The president of Conestoga College sat in his office while working hard to earn his $400,000 yearly paycheck. He reviewed Conestoga's financial report to make sure the numbers were correct, unlike the mayor. The report showed that Conestoga's revenue from tuition fees this year was $389 million, up over $100 million from the previous year. This was a huge increase in revenue since a decade ago they were only earning $52 million. The extra hundreds of millions of dollars they collected in tuition comes from the influx of students, especially international students. This year, Conestoga has 42,000 full-time students, more than double the amount from 2020. They've also brought in 30,000 international students in only 16 months. Since 2014, their international student enrollment has increased by 1,579%, whereas the University of Waterloo and Laurier only increased it by 60% in that time frame. However, after years of cashing in on international student fees, Conestoga College's gravy train might be coming to an end. The people of the Shire, particularly the hiring managers, were catching on to Conestoga's diploma mill business model. They're talking openly with the apes of Reddit about how they've blacklisted job applicants from Conestoga College, and it's Conestoga's fault. I work for one of the big four as a manager in management consulting, and let me tell you that our HR absolutely does not allow any Conestoga resume to come anywhere near the hiring process, one hiring manager declared. They were joined by another person in a similar situation. I work as a manager in a mid-sized company in the finance sector. I personally have been blacklisting Conestoga grads since COVID. I think that's when the quality really went downhill. The newer grads lack English communication skills and professionalism, they stated. If anyone, anywhere in the world is reading this post and is considering Conestoga, think again. Well, some Conestoga students were reading Reddit and reconsidered their study plans. You need to leave Conestoga before the reckoning. This is the harsh reality, one student exclaimed. Conestoga's international students faced the harsh reality of living in the tent encampments downtown while they attempted to work off their ridiculous tuition fees. This was not the Canadian dream the Apply Board recruiters had sold them. I'm going to graduate soon, and all the talk about blacklisting employers is giving me cold feet, one student said, as they put on extra socks and zipped up their sleeping bag in their tent downtown. Meanwhile, at Queen Lizard's Park in the swamps of Toronto, the Big Blue Orc replied to the mayor's prayer. He granted his wish and cast a distraction spell to divert attention away from the housing cost crisis. With the help of workers at Deco Signs, he set up a podium and a fake liquor store to announce his recommitment to Buck a Beer and honoring his brother. Starting in 2026, people will be able to buy a variety of alcohol products at convenience and grocery stores, plus big box stores. The pack limit size on beers will also be removed, whereas hard liquor will continue to be sold at the LCBO, Mr. Leahy. The second part of the Big Blue Orc's announcement was to honor his beloved brother, Rob Ford. By putting the Coke back into Tobacoke, he's proposing to name a stadium after him to honor his memory. Can Carly of Klassen and the Elder Elves do anything about the housing cost crisis? And will Conestoga College survive its calamity? Stay tuned here to see. This video is brought to you by brighttutoring.ca. Don't let school get in the way of your education. Book a tutoring session today at brighttutoring.ca.